Hi! So we're back again. This is basically part two for my beliefs part. What I'm going to show you though is some of my books and tell you a little bit about them. Also going to show you what else that I usually put on my altar, which is not really on my altar at the moment. Sorry. Alright, so first things first is my rune set. I made these myself. And a little card that I have that has all the little meanings for each rune is stuck inside the bag. So they're made out of clay that I bought from a store. Don't know if you can see that. Anyway, I made those myself and then I just kept them. So I believe in making my own runes. I believe that they'll work better if you make them and use them yourself. I do have my mother's old set. I don't use those anymore because they don't really feel as powerful for me as what they should have for her. So I don't use them. They're just sitting collecting dust. Next item would be my crystal ball. And it's got a cute little metal thing that comes off. So it's just a stand. My mother actually bought these for us. My sister has one too somewhere, I think. But my mother bought these for us a long time ago before I moved to Indiana. So that was before I was 12. And she found these online somewhere and bought a bunch for us. And I don't know why she bought them. I never used the thing. It just sits on my altar looking pretty. Next is my cauldron, obviously. Again, I don't use it. It's not big enough for anything. So it just sits on my altar until I can find something to use for it. The next thing would be my wand. It's not really my wand. If I had chosen to make my own, it would not even look as half as good as this. It's the same wand that my grandmother gave me. Next would be my books. The first one I have is Simple Spells for Hearth and Home. I haven't actually read all the way through it, so if anyone else has read through this and has a copy and knows what it's about, please tell. I do like to know. The next one is Earth, Air, Fire, and Water. It's by Scott Cunningham. More Techniques of Natural Magic. Again, I haven't read through this yet, so I don't know what it is or what's in it. Now this one I have read. It's called A Witch Like Me, The Spiritual Journeys of Today's Pagan Practitioners. It's by Sirona Knight. And it really is just how the title sounds. It's basically a bunch of stories of other different Wiccan or pagan authors that tells the story of how they became Wiccan and how they became whatever they decided to follow. It's basically their story. The next one is my other favorite. It's called Pagan Parenting. It's a revised edition by Kristen Madden. I did read this all the way through, and I'm going to take some of the ideas for when I have kids. My kids are not going to be raised purely Christian. They're not going to be raised purely Wiccan either. They are going to have the choice of what they want to follow when they get old enough to understand it and choose from it. I'm just going to give them all the tools that they need when I have kids. Alright, next is my Book of Shadows. I'm not going to show you the cover. I don't believe in that, so you'll have to forgive me. Alright. Yeah, that did not work out as well as I wanted it to work out, so we're going to do it this way. Alright, I believe in Summerland. Okay? Basically, land of summer. Nothing really special about that. I believe that's where you go when you're waiting to be reincarnated after you die. I also believe that's where you stay when you no longer need to be reincarnated and have nothing else to learn. Alright, I am a solitary Wiccan. I'm also eclectic. So I take from all kinds of paths, and I stick to them. I do wear the pentacle, as you can see, and if you can't see it, it's right there. I do follow the Wiccan law of 3, where whatever you send out comes back 3 times, worse or good or bad. I also believe in the line, and it harm none, do as you will. I call that my code of conduct. It makes sense. Basically, harm none, and that usually includes yourself. So that's my code of conduct for me. Alright. There's a lot of other stuff I don't follow. I do not follow Satan. I do not believe in Satan. I cannot go with the idea of Satan. To me, Satan is not real. So, to say that he is real and that I have to look out for him is kind of weird for me. I can't go with that. So, moving on. Get to where I need to go. I am a Sagittarius. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little out there, aren't I? Alright, my main goddesses, goddess and god, are Bast and Cernunnos. However, I do follow a bunch of other people. I do follow all the Celtic gods and goddesses. I have them all written down in my book of shadows. I have Anu, Brigid, Branwen, Danu. So those are basically all that I believe and all that I follow. I do not pray to every single one of those gods and goddesses. Do not get me wrong, that's not what I do. I do, however, pray to my main 2. I also, however, believe that there are 2 others above those 2 that have no name. They are simply great goddess and great god, or for some cultures, great mother, great father, or just father and mother. That's it. I believe that they're the ones that created everything and created all the other gods and created us and created Earth and nature, and I do not believe in just one God. I believe that there must be a female with him. So that's where mine comes in. I grew up Christian. Alright. Technically, I grew up Christian. My family was all Christian besides my mother. It wasn't until recent that my mother and sister turned Christian. So, that is basically my life. I started following Wiccan and my mother stopped. So, I'm purely solitary. I have no one to learn from, no one to talk to. And sometimes it's frustrating and sometimes it's not. I have let it go. But it still hurts because I can't go with that. I can't ask my mother anything because she no longer believes in it and she will not see the same things that I do anymore. It's not her fault and it's not my fault. It's just the way we are. I can't push her to have conversations with me about that and help me out with things that she no longer believes in. So, I can't. Well, that's basically all I had to show you. If you want to see more of my Wiccan books, please tell me in the comments. Blessed be, love and light. Have a nice day, and also subscribe. Blessed be.